for entertainment purposes only. Should not take the place of any medical, legal, or financial advice given to you by a qualified professional and are not a substitute for medical, legal, or financial advice. If you need a doctor, call a doctor. If you need to be expanded, call a cosmic.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Cosmic Oracle Show. This is your host, Barbara Jean Lindsey, and we have with us, we're coming to you live from UFOCon 2020, and we have with us our wonderful new friend, MARIEN Grace. I hope you can see her. We can see you, we can feel you. We've had an amazing time here at UFOCon. We've had some amazing speakers all day. I actually spoke today. I did a presentation. It was really fun, and so glad it's over with, and now I can have some fun with you, with all my friends here on
Hello and welcome everyone
Facebook.
to the Cosmic Oracle Show.
Oh, there we go. We'll just do that. Let me shoot. We're here. Okay, we're just checking our technical. I'd like totally spaced it. I was having such a good time and having so much fun that I just like totally spaced it. And so MARIEN's being very gracious, just kind of popping in at the last minute. This is MARIEN Grace. Yay! And it's fun to have two of us here because I only have one all the time.
Yeah.
Because everyone I talk to is either it's on Skype, and so very rarely do I get a studio where people can actually come in and we can actually talk.
Yeah,
so
this would be great.
Yeah. So MARIEN, why I had you on, and we had so many things in common. I've done a lot of. I went to crop circles for about 5 years in a row.
Oh, lucky you.
And spent some time with them.
Yeah.
Your experiences, I understand you have a group once a month.
I do.
And where is that?
It's I call it the Bay Area Crop Circle Study Group, and I do it just from my house in Petaluma. And you know, you were mentioning Meetup earlier, and that was how it got started. Was I put it up on Meetup.
Oh.
And so anybody in the Bay Area that might be interested in crop circles, if they go on Meetup, they would probably find me.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been doing it for a decade, a little over a decade.
That's dedication.
Yeah, well, it's
that's
so much
a relationship.
Fun. Well, that's what the universe is a relationship.
It is,
so
it is.
yeah. So what did you want to ask?
Well, so you do that once a month where they meet up and talk about crop circles, and then
it's a magnet for a lot of different subject matter.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
So let's hear if we came to your meetup, and what's the date that you have your meetup?
It's on the third Sunday of the month.
Okay.
Usually. Sometimes it varies a little for various reasons, but usually on the third Sunday of the month. So fairly regular for a decade. So it is a magnet for a lot of different subjects. So, you know, crop circles, it's not just one thing. It's not just, you know, some ships out there that are trying to give us messages. It's well, you could probably, I mean, if you're interested in this kind of subject matter, you're probably interested in a whole lot of different subject matter, like everything from certainly from the extraterrestrial, all of that, the UFO phenomenon, everything along those lines. Also physics, the physics of the universe,
sacred geometry.
Sacred geometry, exactly. Metaphysics of any kind. Spirit communication, all of that. And so this becomes a platform that you can jump off of and go into all these different territories.
Wow. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. In your relationship with the earth too, right?
Ding. There you go.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. I have a lovely garden at my house. So people do come and enjoy that too. Yeah. So
I want to welcome everyone for coming and being here this evening, and you can ask questions on Facebook of our dear friend, and we'll do our best to have an answer for you, okay? So, yeah, so, oh my gosh, I don't know where to start. I'm like a kid in a candy store with you.
Yeah.
So what got you into crop circles? Like, you know, the question, right?
You know, it's an honest exploration. It's something, an interest in kind of metaphysical geometry has been there forever. Do you remember in the book Pyramid Power?
I do.
Yeah, and
I do.
It came out in the 70s, early 70s or something like that. And when that book came out, I was immediately drawn to it.
Oh.
And I was making little pyramid arrays and putting them under my parents' bed, and you know, and they thought I was crazy, but you know, they humored me, which was very
That's
sweet.
good.
Yeah. And and then when I was in college, I was an art major, but the works that I was doing was all about, they were all about gesture and form and meaning behind gesture and form.
Oh,
and,
I like that.
And code, you know, so that all just fed right in.
And I'm just thinking that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it's the shoe fits.
Yeah, it's an old, I mean, I think it's an honest exploration that has been kind of my thing to do here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
So the crop circles, the only ones I've been to are in England.
What years were you there?
I was trying to think of that, like 2000. 2000. Then I went in 2001, 2002, 2003. Then I don't remember. Let's see.
Yeah,
and then later, I don't remember. I'm not good with dates and time, but 2000, I would say 2009, 2010, something like that.
Lovely. Lovely. I was there in 2003.
Okay.
And God, that is an amazing landscape. It's.
I stayed in Avebury.
You did.
And Glastonbury.
Yeah, I was there on a trip with my mother in 2003, and she wasn't interested in crop circles, but she was paying for the trip, so it was very nice. But I took a day.
Let's hear, your first time sitting in a crop circle.
Right.
Oh my God.
It was remarkable. I took a day. It was actually the whole trip for me. It was all guided, you know, from like 4 months before to the one day that I had to be able to go off of my own without my mother and find my way, you know, using the wobbly bus.
Right.
Did you? I loved that.
I didn't do that.
The wobbly bus, you know, it's really funny.
And I forget the name of the place where everyone meets.
At the Barge Inn.
The Barge Inn.
That's right. That's where
I was.
That was my intent, to get to the Barge Inn. And the only way to get there was, you know, several buses, and I almost got on the wrong bus. Guidance was there at the right moment to kind of redirect me to the right one. And
they were the little pinpoints of where the crop circles are.
That's right. So I got myself to the Barge Inn, and I got into that room where there's these murals and on the ceiling and on the walls.
It's
and
like
maps.
Disneyland, right?
Oh, totally.
It's like surreal when you get there.
And my plan had been, you know, to meet up with all the croppies that were there, and they would love this crazy California woman, and I had gifts with me in tow, and just let me go with them for a day. And but I got there was no one there. And you know, I was a little miffed and didn't exactly know what to do. I got a soda or something, and I sat down in the room, in the crop circle room, and just sat there wondering what was going to happen. And then in walked two fellows, an older gentleman with a younger gentleman, and the older one started showing the younger one the maps, and you know, so they were clearly interested. And I waved them over, come sit with me, come talk to me. And the older gentleman ended up being the owner of the antique store that is right at the crossroads in the middle of Avebury. His name was, I remember, his name was Brian Sumbler. And there's an antique store right in the center of Avebury at the crossroads.
It's in front of the library? It's that little hall?
No, it's close.
Okay.
It's a few doors down. Okay. It's actually closer to the crossroads. It's like cat-a-corner from the Lion's Inn.
Yeah.
And
I know the Lion's Inn.
Yeah, there you go. We all know these places. It's great. I love it. So long ago. Anyway, he was born in the center of Avebury.
No.
And he called himself older than God.
That's pretty cool.
And he knew everyone in the area, and of course he knew the whole history of all the crop circles and everything, and he was taking his German friend that had come into town to go see crop circles, and I said, will you let me be in tow? So the first crop circle that we went to was one that prior to leaving home, I had printed out one crop circle that was current and put it in my backpack, and that was the one that we went to.
Wow.
I had also been, no, I guess that was the second trip that I went on. But I remember going and like dancing around the circle and, you know, trying to feel the energies, and it was a beautiful five-fold circle. And it was on Windmill Hill.
Windmill Hill.
Yeah. And it was lovely. And then we went to a couple more, and then I accidentally, maybe the guides, I think it was the guides for sure, I missed the last bus back to my mother. Out of Avebury. So now I had to find a place to stay, and fortunately Brian knew everyone in the area. Oh, how fun! Right, so
that courtyard area there.
Right, yes. So he got me a place to stay in Avebury Truslow, which it was actually at the end of a lane that looked out on Silbury Hill.
Oh.
And so I like to say I have the closest bed to Silbury Hill.
It's like you go to Egypt and you have the pyramid looking out the window. It's the same thing, you know.
It's unbelievable. Wow. It was unbelievable. So, I mean, I felt so guided. And then, so I'll tell you.
And the green. What do you think about the green there? The color green there. Is it different green than what we have?
Well, I was there. That's an interesting thought.
It's such a green. It's such. I always try to find the green from the near-death experience that I had.
Oh, right.
And that's one of the closest greens I've seen. The greens seem different than our green.
Have you been to Ireland? I mean, I haven't been there, but is it the same kind
Scotland.
of green or
different?
Different, still different.
I think it has more of a blue-green to it almost. I'm not sure.
The one you're looking for, or the Irish
No, the one that was in the crop circles in Avebury.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of remembering that I'm not sure if I was there at the right time of year, because, you know, the crops, they change over. It had been dry. It had been a very dry year, and I had been, you know, begging whoever for them to make a new crop circle, and because there hadn't been that many that year.
Okay.
And
there's just a time for them, right? From April's usually the earliest.
Right. They got to be crops.
Right.
You know, the farmers got to be growing.
You can't go. We'll go in December. That fits for me.
Well, you know, there's an occasional snow circle.
That's true.
Yes. Or even
talk about that.
Yeah. Or even in the they call them bug strips, where the farmers will let weeds grow on the off season to harbor all of the good bugs.
Oh,
you know, they have to have a place to stay. You know, their vacation home, which is the winter time, and there have been formations in the bug strips.
I've never heard that before.
Rare.
That's awesome.
Rare, but you know that also happens. So that would be kind of off season.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The weirdest story I ever heard with crop circles was that, you probably know the story better than I do. It's an older story. It's like somewhere Switzerland, somewhere up in that area, where they had a small crop circle in the snow, and that day someone caught a fish with the same crop circle symbol on it.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Is that the weirdest thing?
Totally.
And then they ate the fish before they could get a picture of it.
I know. I remember seeing the photo.
Oh, did you see a photo?
I do. I remember seeing the photo.
Oh. That's cool. Isn't that? I remember when I saw that, I just went, "Okay, there it is in 3D right here for you."
Yeah,
you know,
totally
the
weird.
oddest thing.
Here's another one. They're you know they're not just in crops. You
right.
know, sometimes they're on someone's skin. Have you heard of Robert Vandenbroeke? He's a Dutch medium. Amazing guy. He's the only person that we know that regularly, if there's going to be a crop circle in his area, he gets, you know, he's a medium. He gets
He's tuned in.
Totally. Oh my God, this guy is really tuned in. He gets this uneasy feeling, and then he realizes, oh, something's coming, and he'll get the design. He'll draw it.
Huh.
He'll get the location where it's going to be. He'll call a friend because he doesn't drive, and and also he wants witnesses.
Right.
And they will go out there, and the crop circle will have manifested, or in the place where he saw it, and it will look just like his design, or maybe it'll come the next day, you know, or they see it manifest when they go out there, and he'll have visions. Oh my, there's a ship up there, or they'll see balls of light, or there'll be a column of light. I mean, he's had a lot of witnesses.
Wow.
And
I'd like to hear more about
one
it.
of the other things that happens for him, this is so wild. He's balding. And so he has a very high, you know, forehead, and the crop circles talk about them appearing on other places. Sometimes they will appear
on his
forehead,
which
is just wild. And then the other thing that
is tripped out.
Totally
that
trippy.
Is tripped out.
He's got a forehead crop circle, and the field of his mind. Or something.
Wow.
And then he also gets manifestations on film. You know, so he gets spirit images and all kinds of things.
That's so cool that you hold the energy for this once a month so that people can come and hear all these stories and learn about all of this. So you could be lost, you know? So you get a hub of it.
Yeah, and do meditations or whatever, you know, anything associated. Well, you know, because I've been doing this for a long time. The crop circles are only during the summer, basically.
Right, you don't have a very small window.
Yeah, so, you know, we can talk about what's been going on for that year, but, you know, you got to come up with stuff for the rest of the year to kind of keep people going.
And what's the difference between, I know with me, I could tell the difference when I was there of when the energy in the field that was a real crop circle. Yeah. And then I felt the one where it was not. Uh-huh. Were you able to feel that at all or know much about?
I don't know that I'm sensitive enough for that. I was following guidance a lot, and there was one crop circle that I was told don't go in that one. And it just took everything for me to not actually go into one of the crop circles while I was there. But I did do some kind of, I mean, you'll see tomorrow when I do my talk, I read them in a certain way. I have a certain way to read the language. And it's kind of an obvious way, but when you start allowing yourself to read those kinds of messages, then all kinds of information starts popping out.
Does it come like a holograph? Does it come as a hologram? I always want to lift them up and put them in 3D and spin them.
Yeah, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? The information, I mean, you know, that's all completely valid.
I can't do it. I just thought that would be
there are cool some people who've done some things online, you know, that have done interesting things with programs, and some people, there's somebody, I don't know the person's name, but there's, I mean, if you go onto Crop Circle Connector and people send in artwork that they make based on crop circles, and they'll post it, and somebody does these wonderful 3D renderings of them that are very cool. At least they used to. I don't know if they're still doing it, but it used to do a bunch of them. That was really cool.
I always wondered if the crop circle symbol on the ground, is it printed? Does it go all the way through?
Yeah, I think the energy is spherical, probably.
Oh.
You know.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, it's not flat.
Right.
It sure ain't flat. And they make that real obvious with some of the crop circles. This is not meant to be seen as 2D.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good for our listeners to hear then if they've seen them.
I mean, some of them, it's really obvious. They look like 3D renderings of something.
Right.
So, and I have a few of those tomorrow in my
that's
talk,
good.
So.
That's good.
Yeah.
When you went over, for me, when I went over, I didn't know crop circle etiquette. Yeah. Right? And I learned the hard way.
Oh, did someone get mad at you?
Yelled at me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a sensitive, and so.
Oh, honey.
Because when I first went, I didn't know you're supposed to take your shoes off.
You don't have to take your shoes off.
Yeah, they told me, oh, you have to. I had to take my shoes off.
When you go into the car? Well,
maybe it's different now, but I got
take your shoes
so upset. Someone got so upset with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Have you? Oh, I'm so glad I don't feel so bad.
I haven't heard. You know, I definitely know about, definitely stay on the tram lines. ask the farmer for permission.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or beg for forgiveness.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then take him to the pub and give him an extra ale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the ones had little donation boxes you
Yeah.
could put money in, and I
Yeah.
always did that.
Yeah. So, yeah. I and a few other people went on someone's property that where the farmer had actually already mowed it out.
Oh.
And we found where it was and could still feel the energy. It was so wonderful. It had been a really good crop circle, and it had been mowed out, and we sat and had a picnic. But then the guy drove up and said, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
In his
sorry.
Yeah, right. Sorry. It's really special.
Yeah, crop circles. Wow. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, we're doing good. Let's see if we have any. Hi, Emily. We'll say hello to our people. Catherine, Marie, Bright, Wyatt, Allison Thompson, Joni, Lori Morrison, Jim, our Foresight, Stacy. Hi, Stacy. JJ Buckner. So not live streamed? Oh, it is. I think this is considered live streamed. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it wasn't on yet.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't on yet. It's on now if you're still around, JJ Buckner. Only those in the Bay Area? No, it should be. Oh, no, it's on Revolution Radio. I didn't put their website up. It's on freedomslips.com. Oh, and I should say that. Thank you for listening in today to Revolution Radio. Please give generously to our all-volunteer station. No one gets paid anything for doing this, our productions here. I ran into Solaris Blue Raven, who has Blue Raven The Witching Hour here on Revolution Radio today. She's going to be a presenter tomorrow. And we were just saying, you know, I've been on, I think this is my 5th or 6th year. She's been on 7 years, something like that. And we're all here thanks to you and your donations to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. So just go to freedomslips.com, hit that donate button, and give whatever you can, $5, $10. They have a Patreon program. It's $5, $10 a month, and it hits your PayPal once a month. That's what I do as a offering as well. So it keeps everything on the air. We have like over 80 programs, and there's no commercials except for what I'm giving you right now. And thank you in advance for your generous donations and keeping us on the air. And so you can go to freedomslips.com if you're on Facebook, and I usually post a listening number you can listen into, but you'll just have to go to freedomslips.com today and check out the listening number, or stay here on Facebook, or go to Facebook, Barbara Jean Lindsey, and we're live now on Facebook as well. So thank you for that.
I never knew if it was Freedom Slips or if it's Freedom's Lips.
Oh, yeah, it's Freedom S like slips, women's slips.
Yes, but it could be Freedom's Lips.
That makes more sense, doesn't it? It does. It does. Well, I'll just put that in here. It's freedomslips.com so we know.
Well, there's no space, so you can kind of say it either way.
Yeah. No, but you're right, because I usually have their website up here too. Everything's a little bit collywampus today, so let's see. Let me go here. So okay, so bring it here. Oops. Wait, sorry. Now I'm doing a little technical thing. We were just having a nice roll, and then now I got to do the technical thing. Okay, copy. All right, so we'll go here, and we'll take that. And we'll do this, so we put it in here and paste. All right. And then we should put in your website, well, right before we go back into our next roll that we're going to do. Yeah, what's your website?
The Radiant Point. TAGRADINT Point.
Did I get that right?
I don't know. DIANT. I can't see. I don't have my glasses on.
Point. With the E at the end, .com.
No.
There you are. So, Mira, you got to check her out.
Let's see if that comes up. Let's hope it does. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, I looked at your website. It's really awesome.
Oh, cool.
Edit copy. So we'll put that in here. So you can go to MARIENGrace.com, or the radiantpoint.com.
That's right.
Correct?
Yeah, or you can go on YouTube, and I
Okay.
have 2 YouTube channels.
Oh, good.
And one is MARIEN Grace,
Mhm.
MARIEN.
So it's not Marian, it's Marian?
It's MARIEN, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. I've been saying it wrong. I'm like,
Most
hey,
people
Marianne.
do. That's okay. Most people do. I'm used to it. MARIEN Grace, and also Crop Circle Grace. That's the other one.
Oh, okay. So that's your YouTube channel.
Girl.
Maybe we'll do that on the way. The second half, I'll put that in.
Okay.
And hi, Bill Homan, Crystal Skull Guardian Keeper. So welcome everybody, and so we'll go to the next phase since we did our little that part of the show with telling you how to reach this amazing lady, and if you're in the Bay Area,
and you,
and if you're in the Bay Area, they can come and
to Bay Area Crop Circle Study Group.
Bay Area Crop Circle Study Group.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look it up, but
Yeah.
they can find that on your website. Is it all on your website?
Gosh, I hope so.
Okay, well then let's put it here.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah,
well,
I think
now
it is. Yeah.
Bay Area Crop Circle, right?
Yeah.
And
Study
that-
group.
And what kind of group?
Study.
Study group. Oh, I like that. Study group.
Yeah.
All right. So check that out, everybody.
Yay.
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 All right. So
Good.
what do you feel like speaking about next?
Oh, let's talk about consciousness.
Oh my God. Okay.
Why
All right. Yeah. Let's lift the roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even saying the word, I remember when I first heard it, weren't you scared of it? Like, how do you put,
No, scared wasn't the, scared is
Really?
not the thing.
how do you dissect it and take it apart and figure it all out?
That's a really good question. You know, I think a lot of it is just psychological, you know,
Mhm.
being able to listen to people and hear, are they tense? Are they actually listening? Are they and to yourself as well, you know, you observe in other people and then you observe yourself as well.
Sure.
Absolutely. I mean, this is first relationship actually. But so
Oh, God, serious.
yeah.
Consciousness is serious.
I don't know how to answer these questions.
You're feeling you're being empath with me
Yeah.
probably on that. It's worth studying, though, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's not just one thing.
Mhm.
You know, it's not just about God, it's so varied. I mean, consciousness is lumpy. Consciousness is
I like that.
It's you know, it's actually the whole universe is lumpy. It's
Yeah.
not monochromatic, and we tend to. One of the things we do as a default in consciousness, probably from a safety point of view, is that we tend to monochromize people, subject matters. We think once we get an answer that we have the answer.
Right, put it
and
in a
it's
box
handled.
and everybody's happy.
Right, or if I think I know you, was it you that was talking about 1% today? That
Yes.
we see only 1% of
Yes.
the light. Well, it's like that's how it is
Yeah.
with consciousness.
Right.
We're really only consciously perceiving like a really minuscule
Of what's available
of what's
to us.
available. Right.
Without our mind folding, right.
Exactly. And so to be able to be in the face of the unknown
Yeah.
is and
fun
open
part.
sensitivity. That was another. Somebody said that today. Was that you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely. I've been talking about that lately too. That
I'm sensitive.
well, being open to if we will not get very far if we don't let ourselves become more sensitive,
Mhm.
because that's the language. That's where
That's our humanity.
yeah. And
Can't lose that.
That's
Right, trying to get to this.
Well, it's the only way to get the information about something more. So you have to open your sensitivity to it.
Yeah.
So, do you think that's right?
Yeah, I do. So consciousness is, it's hard to put it, for me, I can't explain it. I would have to probably, and I want to explain it scientifically, but I don't have the words to do it.
Actually, one of the things that I do, you know, is embodied sacred geometry. And a
Right.
lot of that is about actually allowing myself to actually articulate the dynamics of consciousness
Mhm.
that can be expressed in terms of geometry.
Yes. So you have to learn the basics, right?
Right, yeah.
So you have to learn what those are, and I just haven't done it yet.
Well, no, these are things that you know. I mean, it's so simple. Like just the numbers 1 through 10, you know, or 1 through 9. To know that the number 1 is just a single to itself, and that is you, or that is the whole, or it's unity, you know. And when you get to the number 2, that's a relationship. That's you and
I like
other.
this. Oh, let's do this.
Yeah.
I like this.
So, I mean, when I look at the crop circles and I see, oh, there's 2 circles there, that's about a relationship. Between what? I mean, if it's between us and the universe, or us and the beings that are out there, you know, what's that relationship? And then what happens, us and the earth? What is it that happens around inside of that geometry, or inside that design, that is showing something about the relationship?
Right.
So,
so it's speaking to us.
I think they are.
In a different language.
It's a different language, but it can be, I mean, it's not just one thing.
Right.
So, I mean, what I say is not the right way. What I say is,
it's your perspective.
That's exactly right. It's a perspective that's valid.
And it can change tomorrow, or I'm sure my perspective on a lot of things are going to change by the end of this weekend.
Right.
From coming to a conference, because we're here to learn and expand and grow and change. And
something gets something a little extra added, and
something taken away.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, consciousness. Yeah, I studied Penny Bradley's work. Is that her? Penny,
the woman that used to work for Levengood in the lab, or?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought she had a really good consciousness. She broke it down.
Yeah, I haven't read her stuff. But
you would like it.
She does fairy lore and or earth energy.
Earth energy, I think. I don't know exactly. I don't remember. I had her on my show.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but she had a really good one too, and I don't remember it. But consciousness, something like, are we trying to hold it? Like consciousness is this?
Right.
And so can you actually hold it?
No. Well, you can hold little bits of it.
Right.
Yeah, but if you think you've got the whole thing, you've really
lost it.
Yeah, you've limited yourself.
Yeah.
Tragically. Yeah.
But so consciousness, so someone who's, let's talk about aware of consciousness. So an awareness, so you can have this idea of consciousness. Would it be you're way aware of it, or a little bit aware, or you're, like that, but consciousness stays the same? Or does it change and grow with you as you look at it?
I think it's such a huge subject. Does the universe stay the same?
Right, because we're here or not here. Does it change?
Yeah.
But they just did that thing where science proved that by you being there, it changes the outcome. Right.
Yeah.
That was a mind blower for me. I always kind of felt that, but now we have science proving it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Well, there's a lot of very interesting science out there.
So what do you do in your study group with some of that? Or?
Well, we'd like to talk about these subjects.
Yeah.
That's very fun.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing I have in my backpack is that I am a delegate of the Resonance Academy.
I know, that's huge.
It's fun.
How long you been in it? For a while?
For 2 years, 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Oh, yeah, it's totally worth it.
Everyone should do that.
Totally,
right?
Yeah.
As a basic, it's a nice jumping off point once you get that down.
Absolutely.
Right?
And just for people who don't know, the Resonance Academy is Nassim Harameyn's, the physicist's, educational arm. So, and he has a faculty of amazing people, Adam Apollo, Robert Grant, mathematician.
I didn't know Adam Apollo was from that.
Adam's great. He's a master teacher, and he's just actually about to launch another course, his first course through the Resonance Academy.
Cool.
But anybody can take it. You don't have to be a member of the Resonance Academy to take Adam's course.
Okay.
Look up Adam Apollo. And about quantum geometry is what his course is about.
Okay.
And then Robert Grant is this wonderful, amazing geometer. Alan Green, look up Bard Code, B-A-R-D. He's a Shakespeare scholar who is finding that there is code. There is the universal codes in Shakespeare's works.
Oh my God!
And it's
not surprised,
and,
right?
And that it's also reminiscent in, of course, in the Great Pyramid, of course, right. And he and Robert Grant are actually they're going there on Sunday
Are
for a
they?
week. And Adam and 30 other people. They're going on a trip to back to Egypt.
Wow.
To study more of this information. So that's very, very cool.
So you're going to take a group to
a bunch of other people.
The crop circles yourself?
That'd be fun.
Wouldn't it be fun?
It would be totally fun.
Yeah. I could see you doing that.
Yeah. Well, you're the empath. You see it? I must be about to do it. Yeah. I have to figure out how to. I mean, I've never led a trip like that. Okay. So. But that would be totally fun. Yeah.
Because you're into it, girl.
Yeah,
you are like,
I'm totally
this
into
is
it.
Your thing.
Yeah, completely. So, yeah, it's really fun. That would be really fun. I've been trying to figure out some way that I can get back there. So.
Yeah, that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Then you have more stories to tell.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Not that you don't have enough. You have quite a few.
Yeah. So, and with it all is about the structure of the universe and the love that we have here. And I think all these ancient sites, well, they certainly have a lot of that information in them. It's not just one thing. It's not just like the love of the universe. It's also history and everything else. But
and they had a closer relationship
right.
with the earth than what we do now. And we're starting to bring it back around, and maybe not everyone lost it, thank God.
Yeah.
But I know when I was raised, we didn't know about any of this at all.
Yeah.
None of it.
Yeah.
So hopefully the newer generation and people that have come through your classes over the years help, pass it forward and,
right.
and
so
move us along.
So much new information is coming out. Well, so much ancient information.
Right.
Not new, but it's new to us.
Our true history.
Right. And it's so much more radical than than
so
we
maybe
ever
we're not
imagined.
so weird.
Yeah. No, we're just at the vanguard.
Right.
I was supposed to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, maybe we articulate it well.
Yeah. But learning, I can never say his name.
Nassim Haramein.
Nassim Haramein.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that would rock your world after you take his class.
It's pretty amazing.
Did you ever think you could? Were you?
I think once you do go through their basic training, their boot camp, you can go on these trips with them, which I could have gone on this Egypt trip, for instance, but I'm here this weekend.
You're meant to be here.
Yeah, I'm here. So, but I have been to Egypt with them, actually, 2 years ago.
Oh, let's hear about that.
Oh, that was remarkable. And then last year I went to Mexico with them.
Wow.
And that was also remarkable. So, I definitely have the feeling that whatever the intelligence was that created the pyramids, that created the pyramids all over the world,
right?
And these resonant, amazing sites. It's the same intelligence. It's the same intelligence that's making the crop circles.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay.
At least they're connected.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe that it was here. It's still here, and it's still finding a new modern way to kind of interact with us and give us some of the same information and expand it.
Right. So that leads to a question about the history of crop circles then. Have they always been in our history?
Well, there were these other things that went on. you know, all the ancient sites, you know, in a way you could say, oh, right, I was going to tell you this other little story.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
I better tell this one before.
Okay.
You know, we were talking about how the crop circles appear on
Yes.
Robert Vandenbroek's forehead.
Yeah.
You know, and they can be really tiny crop circles. For instance, there is a researcher, Mike Cleland. Do you know who that is? He has a podcast that's on Unknown Country, which is Whitley Strieber's website. Cool. And he also studies owls. It's one of he's an owl researcher. And as portent of contact.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So, but he was interviewing Grant Cameron.
Oh.
Recently, and that, for instance, this was one of my crop circle groups one day, is that we played this, I played this interview and then we discussed it.
Oh, good.
So I played this particular podcast, and he was talking in the podcast that one day his girlfriend came in with her little dowsing pendulum, thank you, and there was a little knot in the pendulum, a little 3-lobed knot in the string of the pendulum. And she said to Mike, what did you do to my pendulum? And Mike looked at it and said, I didn't do this, you know, and he was like studying the knot. It was this beautiful, very complex. He couldn't figure out how to undo it. He couldn't figure out how it was made. And apparently he's someone who knows knots.
Right.
He was trained with how to do knots at some point in the Boy Scouts, I don't know what. But he couldn't figure out this knot. And then a few days later, like a week later, his girlfriend came back in and said, thanks for undoing the knot. And the knot was gone. So, I mean, you know, and I heard this story and I thought, oh my God, you had your own private little crop circle.
A mini crop circle.
Right, some kind of little tiny, beautiful manifestation.
I love that idea of that.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I thought so.
Oh my God, I never would have thought of that at all. You know, or to take them out of that crop circle and put it in a whole different
it could be
way.
It could be anything, you know. You could be stirring the cream into your coffee and suddenly it does something and then a moment later it's gone. You know, it's like
but awareness is everything. That's your consciousness.
Right.
Be conscious of the crop circle.
Yeah.
You never know where or how it's going to appear.
Right, exactly. Be open to the unknown, loving you.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Not be open to the unknown and be very, very afraid.
Right, exactly. That, you know, Einstein, always good to quote Einstein, you know, his when people ask what's the most important thing, and he said I'm probably butchering it, but the most important thing to remember is, or to ask, the most important question is the universe friendly? It wasn't, is the universe dangerous?
Right.
The question is not, is the universe threatening?
Right.
The question is the universe friendly? And that a priori point of view
I love that.
of being open to the friendliness of the universe will actually give you so much more.
An opening.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Can you say that once more for our audience? Like when you hear the truth, you have to hear it a few times.
It's true.
So then you get it here, you get it here, you get it here, and then you got to work it all through the body.
Right.
You know.
Right. Exactly. That. So the idea is that Einstein's quote: "The most important question is the universe friendly?"
Oh, I love that.
Right.
I just love that.
And so, you know, being able to really watch, am I holding, talking about consciousness, for me, it's all about, am I holding tension or am I holding openness?
Right.
And that goes, you know, that gets expressed in lots and lots of different ways. But that's the basic polarity, is like tension or open.
Oh, I like that. So you do a body check.
Yeah.
You know, an awareness check. It's like a boat. You're checking your wake. You know, to see.
Oh, I don't know this one. Tell me that.
Well, yeah, I had a boat for years, and we were on Sacramento River, and you had to be real mindful of your wake that your engine puts back behind you.
What?
So that other boats don't get too much wake so that they fill their ship with
flip
water
over
or flip them
something.
over. And there's other skiers. And so you want to be mindful of your wake. So I used to teach my kids that. You just be careful and you just watch your wake so that you're not too high. You're mindful of everyone around you so that if you're going to come up to them, you slow down. And when you slow down, the wake slows down.
That's beautiful.
But when you speed up and you're not paying attention, then all that wake of water just sloshes up against their boat.
This is more about opening up your sensitivity.
Yeah, to what's around. To be mindful of everything that's around you. Right. So I always taught my kids, you got to check your wake.
I love that. So, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think we're ready for a break almost.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Oh, we have 11 minutes before our break. So,
what happens at the break?
We're going to take a break at 5:57 to 6:04.
Okay.
And we do a little commercial break for the studio, and then we'll come back for part 2. And so everyone stay tuned. I usually type it in here. Let's see if we have any questions, huh? Emily Blake Cassell says spheres are the perfect shape.
Well, actually, it's the torus, but
yeah, let's.
Well, here's an interesting fact. Mm-hmm. There is a polar north and south at every level of scale throughout the universe.
What?
I know.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
you think we should have been taught this a long time ago, right?
Yeah, yeah. In other words, here I'll put it in another level of language. There is vertical. There is a vertical that has up and a down, a vertical at every level of scale in the universe. So this is down to the atomic, the subatomic. There is a vertical axis at every level of scale, all the way out to the universe. There is a vertical axis that goes through the center of the universe. And actually it's an omnicentric universe, and you are in the center of it.
And where is our planet then in this?
Well, if it's omnicentric,
right? It's right
all
there.
It's all centered.
So is that like, what is it? Like the like a shell of a shell of a shell of a shell of a shell.
Yes, it's all fractal.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah.
See, I got to learn all this, the words for this thing.
Right. Yeah. So, sacred math would be another thing, for instance, that we would study in the crop circle group. So
yes. Ooh, maybe when we get back, we could talk about sacred math.
Okay.
I like that idea.
That's fun.
And then we have like just a few more minutes. So let's see if there's any other questions.
Okay.
Lee Bodge says, never considered tiny crop circles. Interesting.
Isn't it lovely?
Yeah. And Emily Blake Cassell says, Einstein also said imagination is more important than knowledge.
Beautiful.
I like them both together.
Yeah, I do too.
Why choose? I'm not going to choose.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to just have it all.
Right? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I do.
And let's see. Lee Bodge says greetings. Yeah, I like knowledge too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And imagination though. Oh my God.
It's all artistry. Put it all into artistry.
Oh, art's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's why I always feel closest to source.
Yeah.
Is through art, through creation itself, right? If you're creating, then you're closest to creator when you're creating.
Oh, lovely.
I think that's how I would put it.
That's lovely. Yeah.
Bay Area Crop Circle Study Group. So we're good. So, all right. So we have a lot of people here today. So they're kind of coming in and out.
Yay.
So yay. So we're getting you ready for, you have a talk tomorrow?
And first thing in the morning.
Oh, first thing?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That'll be fine.
Really? Are you a morning person or evening? Or is that a...
I'm not an afternoon person. I had to take my nap.
I love that. I love that. I have a friend
I'm a morning and evening. And
I
get a little lull in the afternoon.
Yeah, I have a friend who did that forever. She had so much energy and she accomplished so much. And she said it's every afternoon she took a nap.
Oh.
Every single afternoon, as far as she could remember.
Validating.
Yeah, and she took a nap, and she's an amazing, amazing lady.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, and I thought I tried to, but I can't let go. You have to kind of let go, and so
it does help.
Yeah.
You know that 20-minute or half an hour cat nap, whatever.
Right.
It really, really helps. So,
Yeah. I think I'm built a little different. I'm an evening person. I'm
Yeah.
definitely a night person.
So you won't be at my
And of course I will be there. I'll get up early so I make sure I have like 2 cups of coffee
2
or
cups of
something.
coffee. There we go. Everybody's going to be,
Yeah.
okay, what's she going to say?
What are we gonna say?
Right.
And it's I'm the kapha part of me and the Ayurvedic. I'm real easygoing, slow going, and
Right.
so we get to have coffee. It's one of the ones that get to have coffee.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. I looked hard for that. I knew it was in there somewhere.
Right.
I'm keeping to that.
Right.
You know.
That's pretty funny.
All right, so I think we're almost ready. Let's see, Einstein also said, okay, we got that. Einstein's really, that's really cool. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, all right.
Oh, tiny crop circles. So if
Oh,
there's,
yeah.
do we still have another minute?
We have 5 minutes.
Okay. This is,
Good thinking.
yeah. Actually, this is just like a one-liner. I have a movie title, but I don't know the movie.
Okay.
It's not one that's been made.
Well, for anyone out here who would like to make it.
would like to make
Yes.
this movie.
Okay.
I think I just have a brilliant movie title.
Oh, let's hear it.
The movie is called Tiny Infinities. Isn't that a lovely title?
Oh, I like
Tiny
that.
Infinities. And I don't know what the movie's about, but
It would be crop circles, right?
well, it could be about people, just
Bubbles?
stories in someone's life. It could be about anything, actually.
Where they connect, where they don't
Right,
connect, where
probably
they
maybe a
become
series
different.
of stories that all, it could be like one of those movies where it all comes together in the end. But yeah, something about tiny infinities. That there's infinities at every level
Mhm.
of scale.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we're living a lifetime that's only for a blink of an eye, yeah, it's an infinite amount of time from within it. And every moment is an infinite amount of time from within it. And there's infinities that are stacked fractally at every level of scale. So I mean, there's always infinite exploration that could be had.
Yeah.
You don't have to limit yourself.
Right. And so would it be like a multi-dimensional infinity?
I would love that. Yeah,
You know?
I think the movie should include something about that. Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
But I don't know the plot.
Well, we'll have some helpers.
Yeah, right. Any
It's always
writers
fun
out
to bring your infinities together, right? To create something that hasn't been created before. And that's where the most fun is.
Right, and something from the unknown.
Yeah, I love that part.
Infinity.
That gives me the most joy, I think.
Wow. A lot of people, like you said before, the unknown approaches, and there's an autopilot of caution, and
that's where the fun is.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're here too, as humans, to explore that.
Do you see yourself as very brave?
Oh yes.
You'll have to give me some lessons.
You don't care.
This is good. Yeah.
You can love. And someone told me this, you probably heard this. You can be responsible to someone, but not for them. And that helped me a lot.
That's one of those ones that I have to let soak in. So you can be responsible to someone,
but not for them. And for a long time in my life, I think I was responsible for everyone.
Right.
Because you see so much.
Right.
Right? So I can help them. I can, there's something there.
Right, right.
And so you can just let them all be and still be.
Yeah.
And let them just be. So it's kind of fun. So because I used to always feel responsible. I think it's from being a mom too, and and with responsibility comes control.
Oh, yeah.
So this moment you let go of that control,
right,
that's where it's all happening.
Okay. That's where the unknown gets to come in.
Right.
And that's where bravery can make its face known.
Exactly.
Huh.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah, brave enough to let your loved ones have their own experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now you can be there to pick up the pieces or to
Help at least.
go left 20 feet. Been there, you might not want to go that way.
Right.
You know, but
Right.
but just to watch them too, because the best teaches is through experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
You found that with doing your meetings, probably with people coming, they have an experience
Right.
of it, and that's the best teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you talk about getting your hand burned on the fire, oh yeah, that makes logical sense. But once you burn your finger, you're never going to do it again.
This is true. This is true.
So, but then also, like with us and the work that we do, just because they say you're going to burn your finger doesn't mean either.
That you absolutely are going to burn
Yes.
your finger. Right. Yeah, there can be a different experience.
Yes,
And that also needs to be validated and have a platform for
That's
sharing.
right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, I mean, one of the principles or kind of a rules of my group is that everyone's experience is valid.
Yeah.
No one gets invalidated.
Oh, I love that.
And you know, may there be room to share, you know.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's not popular.
Right.
We've
exactly.
been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to break now, and we'll be back at 6:04. So stay right where you are.
Very precise.
Thanks for tuning in.
Do they have a series of things that they play?
Yeah, I'm going to put that up too, so no one leaves. Taking a break. A freak. A freak.
Yeah, taking a freak. Yep. Yep. Fun.
So
You don't have to do anything for that. They just play it, or is there someone in a studio somewhere?
Dictatorship! Oh, be quiet. Why are you guys so anti-dictators? Imagine if America was a dictatorship. You could
So
let
they can't
1%
hear us on
of the
Revolution
people
Radio, but they
have
can
all
hear us
the
on
nation's
Facebook.
wealth. You could help your rich friends get richer by cutting their taxes and bailing them out when they gamble and lose. You could ignore the needs of the poor for healthcare and education. Your media would appear free, but would secretly be controlled by one person and his family. You could wiretap phones. You could torture foreign prisoners. You could have rigged elections. You could lie about why you go to war. You could fill your prisons with one particular racial group, and no one would complain. You could use the media to scare the people into supporting policies that are against their interests.
Tune in Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time for Liberation Nation with Deacon John, where America comes to hear the truth.
I know this is hard for you Americans to imagine, but please try.
Ohio Exopolitics will be on from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern on Studio A. Mark Steiner will have guests on that will discuss many important topics, including the state of the world today. However, much of the show will be dedicated to the writings of Edward Albert Meyer. Let me read a short passage from one of his writings. Love is the highest principle of creation, and through it, everything exists in absolute logic. All of nature in its indescribable splendor is nothing but the love of creation, which is expressed visibly. The love of creation is everywhere, because without it, nothing at all would be able to exist. Please join Mark on Ohio Exopolitics from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern on Studio A.
It is no secret that the so-called mainstream media is best described as controlled propaganda. Countless news stories are either totally ignored or spun with half-truths, and because of this, essential facts and vital information are often compromised. Join Dr. Ott every Friday night on Studio B at 10 p.m. Eastern and learn why The story behind the story was nominated for a Peabody Award in its second year of producing unparalleled broadcasting excellence in 1997. That is, if you really care about learning the truth.
Transcending time and space, let us take you to the place inside your mind where thoughts divide and mysteries unwind. Join us every Monday evening right here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you will catch the Fenton Perspective with our great host, Lorian Fenton. Come listen in as she shares her amazing stories from the past to present, along with all of her guest secrets to the future. That's the Fenton Perspective every Monday evening right here from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Revolution Radio. Oh, and you don't need to expect us. We're already here.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Hello and welcome back to the Cosmic Oracle Show. This is your host, Barbara Jean Lindsey, and we are coming to you live from San Francisco, southern San Francisco, South San Francisco. We're at the airport, the Hilton Inn. No, not the Hilton.
The Holiday.
The Holiday Inn, darling. The Holiday Inn Airport at the UFO Con 2020, and we're just having an amazing time here. I hope that if you can make it, it's still not too late. And we have with us today, live in the house, we get to see both people, which I love. My idea is to have like a television show or something where I could really sit at a table and really interview people. You could really see face to face with everyone. So it's a joy to have you with us today, MARIEN Grace, and your work. You can catch MARIEN's work at radiantpoint.com.
The Radiant Point.
TheRadiantPoint.com, and it's on Facebook in the chat there. So TheRadiantPoint.com. So welcome back to part 2, and welcome back to the show.
Thank you, thank you. Or find me on YouTube. I have some really great YouTubes up.
Okay.
Actually, they're on my website too. You have to look. You kind of have to dig for them, unfortunately.
Well,
but
let's put it in the chat. So
yeah.
What's your YouTube channel?
YouTube Crop Circle Grace for the crop circle videos.
Okay, let's see if we can find it.
Yeah.
Crop Circle Grace.
Yeah.
Okay.
For all the crop circle videos. But then I've also started doing one that's just my name, MARIEN Grace.
Is that the one you want them to go to, or both?
Both.
Or
Both are good.
Circle
Yeah. Grace, Grace. And should find my channel there somewhere. No.
Okay. Is it because it's not? Oh, I put it in one word. Probably not.
No.
Right.
Well, it should be one word.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm something. There's
one. Oh, there you are. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think we'll go there, and then I can't actually play it, but we can.
No.
I can put it in the.
Yeah, there's some some old talks, but they're still good.
Yeah.
You know?
And so that's Crop Circle Grace is your YouTube channel, and
that's
we'll just post it.
And then the other one is MARIEN Grace. You know, my name. Which is spelled like Marie and.
There
Grace.
We go. Yeah. Good. Yay!
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So how do you like doing the YouTubes? And
yeah, it's interesting. It's I mean, one of the things that I do at home by myself is I make audio recordings. I get into these flights of brilliance, and I make these audio recordings, and I have hundreds of these audio recordings, and I've been, you know, kind of going into my realizations about the geometry of the universe, or the geometry of relationship, or the geometry of emotions, or you know, anything actually, and the geometry of consciousness, and
can we take a look at that?
yeah. Well, we were starting to just a little while earlier, so that you know, that lends itself to being made onto YouTube's, but it's a lot of work. I mean, but I've started doing a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful work.
Yeah.
When you just get inspired, and then it just, you can kind of let go and do you channel it, or does it
is
in
it
between
channel?
What is channeling? No.
Yeah, what is channeling? It certainly is realization. It's more like it's like I'm tracking something, and realizations come.
Right.
And I record
a download.
Yeah, I download.
It's like a download.
Yeah.
A total download.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you take responsibility for them, though?
I'm not separate from it.
Right.
Actually, this is actually part of the geometry of consciousness in the universe. Is that, you know, we have these. We can go into these spheres of, you know, feeling separate from God, or feeling separate from feeling separate from everything, from anything.
Right. So what better way to control someone than to make them feel separate and not isolated?
Yeah, that can be, unfortunately, that can be manipulated.
Right.
But the truth, if we really understand, you cannot be separate from the universe. You can't be separate from God. It's impossible. It's impossible. We're not the whole thing. I mean, one of my ideas, I like this. I think this is really good. Is that,
wait.
Okay. Yeah. I have a few good singers.
Yeah, they're golden, right?
I know they are. They're really good. Okay, so between lives, or just before this life, you know, we're out there with our guides, and we're kind of considering, okay, what's the next life going to be? Okay, I think I need certain kinds of experiences to kind of just get something a little bit more clearly. Okay, we've got a little map here. Okay, I think this looks good. I'll sign the contract. You kind of sign we've been contracted to do these things. Well, you sign the contract, and then you contract into this lifetime.
This part. And
what I think that's actually happening is that we're doing subsets of the whole. We're not separate from it, but we're also not the whole. I mean, I think we have I don't know, from here, I feel really tiny. Tiny infinity. It's an infinity.
Oh, there we go.
But it's really tiny compared to the universe.
Well, yeah. But do you think it's because, too, that we have a body, and to take that much and put it through a body would blow it out?
The circuits, right. So we contracted to do a subset of frequencies of consciousness, and they are harmonic. They're harmonic with the whole, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or maybe some are more or less harmonic. I don't know.
Right.
And there are harmonics that we share in communion with everybody and with everything.
Right.
Various harmonics.
Tones.
And there's also singularity, some singularity that is only right here. That is
your unique.
That is my unique, right?
My print.
It's yours.
Perspective. I get to have it all to myself, and I'm not sharing.
It's right there. It's not separate.
Right.
But it's right here. You know, and my consciousness is here. I'm
the flame.
Here.
Like the flame.
Yeah.
That's
the flame. That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Then you turn it up. Turn it down.
Get the
oh, that didn't work. Oops.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that'll work. So we're explorers, right? In all of this.
Yeah. And but we you know, to know that we're not separate.
That's got to feel good.
Yeah. And even though
Do you think you came in though knowing that?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
I don't know.
Look at that.
Yeah. My memories of childhood are not bad, but maybe I had it at the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
By 3 or 5 or 6
or in utero. I don't know. It's
no, I changed my mind.
I mean, my mother smoked, so so I know, and I was born a little bit early, so I know that there was some kind of feeling like, separate me out from this now.
Right.
Yeah, because this is not good.
Second thought here, third thought.
You know, whether it's separate or death.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how does death work within all the fractals?
Well, it's it's all a continuum. This whole universe is a unity. And so actually, here, how does death work with it? Well, it's my idea of who's doing them.
I love this. Yes.
Okay, is that the whole universe is doing them. That it's a unified whole that at which there are, just like I'm doing a subset, that there's this subset of planet Earth in history, subset of time, and a subset of communion of consciousnesses that are here, and but it's not separate. It's not separate. And so all the consciousness that's here has something to do with anything that manifests in a particular moment of time.
I love that. When you were saying that, I'm getting like a breath, an in-breath and an out-breath.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
It's just kind of like, it is.
Yeah.
You don't think about it, it just is.
Right. Yeah, and it manifests different things with every breath. And so, any particular design would arise like, for instance, and everything in a moment. It's like the I Ching, where, when you throw the coins, they work,
right?
Because everything in a moment is necessarily characteristic of that moment.
It's so true.
And you're not separate from that.
Right, right. Like getting a tarot reading, too.
Exactly.
In that moment, the cards don't lie.
That's exactly right.
Same with getting a psychic reading. In that moment, it's spot on. It's just you don't see what you can't see. So it's just there in that moment.
Well, I feel like the crop circles are something similar. That they are manifesting out of a particular moment, and it can be a big moment. It can be referencing deeper time or higher time or broader time, whatever.
But they're definitely communicating.
I think so. Oh,
and taking the time to do that. You probably heard this somewhere, that there's just a teenager doing,
with ropes and boards,
well, not ropes and but where they're just a flyby and they're in trouble and they're just sitting to us.
A teenage E.T.
Yes, yes. And they shouldn't be doing this, but they're giving it to us. I kind of like that.
Right. Using the fields as their doodle pad.
Right, to mess with us.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get them to, think this or that.
Right.
Get them to think is always good, though. So.
Yeah, well, no, I have the feeling it's much more sophisticated than that. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because the brilliance in them.
Do you have a favorite crop circle?
I do. I actually, I have a few. I do have a few. It's, your babies. You don't want to be too
I have
preferential.
One too.
Yeah,
I have a couple. Yeah.
You have I like the ones that are very clearly talking about consciousness.
Ooh.
And sometimes you have to, once you see it, you go, oh my God, that's remarkable. So there was one that, what was the date? It was near Etchelhampton, near the the Uffington horse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was behind that, and I think it was 2005 or 6, and it looked. Some people called it the pineapple. Looked kind of like a pineapple, but
it wouldn't be the pineal.
No.
That's more like a honeycomb.
No, yeah. It's
I don't remember it. I'll have to look it up.
I'll show it to you tomorrow.
Oh, good. And all of our listeners look it up, right?
Yeah.
It's called, you can look it up at.
Well, probably you can't find it by the pineapple. I actually could probably get the information for you if you want me to.
Oh. Well, we can do it. We can get it to them later after this, and I'll post it, and then we can put it
on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
Or, Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Unless you want to show them an image of it.
Oh, I can do that. It might take a moment.
Yeah, it'd be fun because we can actually do that.
Yeah, I can actually show them how it works.
Right.
Yeah, so
because I wouldn't normally be able to do that. So.
Okay, good.
You know she's a real crappie because she has, I won't show you, but she has as her cover is a crop circle.
My desktop.
Her desktop is a crop circle.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming in
to them in a minute.
Hello. Hello, Tim Cassis. Oh, Priscilla Kennedy, hello. Welcome to the show. Hey, Cass, I've been thinking about you. Good to hear from you. Glad you're here. This is wonderful. Never considered tiny. Yep. And Emily, let's see. We got that. Oh, yeah. Emily says, yes, time is transcendent. When dimensions touch you, can transverse them.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Are you ready?
Yes. All right, here we go.
See. Oops. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
That's not showing up.
Will it show up at all?
Well, I think it's because we're kind of in.
Maybe if I turn that off for a second. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Did that? Oh, you can kind of see it.
No, it's because of the. It's trying to do one thing and do another.
Okay.
Okay, that's not working.
Okay, but I know it looks like a big fan.
Yeah, kind of looks like a fan.
It always reminded me of an Egyptian fan when I first saw it.
Actually, it's at Uffington Castle. The date was June 8th, 2006.
Okay, so you can look it up at the crop. Would the crop circle connector have it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Although you'd have to go into the archive.
Go in the archives. Uffington.
Well, you might not be able to get into the archive unless you've given them some money.
Well, give them some money.
Give them some money.
Yes,
yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Only if you give Revolution Radio money for
right there. Uffington Castle.
8th of June.
8th of June, 2006.
2006. All right.
Yeah, I wonder if we did it in the mirror and then you turned it around.
Yeah, let's try it.
Let's try that. See if that works. Kinda.
Kinda.
Yeah, that does kind of work.
That's brilliant.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so here, let me describe this for a minute while you can still see it.
Oh, we got it there.
Yeah.
Oh, someone helped us. Did you feel that?
Ish. Yeah, that was good. Okay, so there is a circle that has a dot that is off center at the bottom. And that dot, anytime you have a dot in my language of reading the things, it's a singularity. A dot it can be a subject matter, it can be a being, it can be any realm of exploration can be represented by a circle or a dot. So out of the center of that dot it is radiating lines. That are going out to the edge. Those are the kind of fan-like lines that are going out, and they're reflecting off of a dot at the top that is that looks like the dot that you are. You know, it's very similar. And then when it reflects back, it reflects in concentric circles coming back towards you. So this is your consciousness moving out, reflecting off of something that's out there that is actually a reflection of yourself.
Of you, yeah.
And coming back and creating all this interference pattern. That's that whole moire pineapple is an interference pattern of reflections. And that's actually what's happening in consciousness.
I love that we were seeing it through a mirror, too. That cracks me up.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant. Yes, it is so brilliant. Oh, my God. How many layers of consciousness are going on here?
Right, right.
Okay, well, is that enough?
That's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you for that. So, that's awesome.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
thank you for that.
So I'm going to go through that tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to come hear you talk tomorrow about it.
Good talk.
Yeah.
I'm excited, too. So.
Let's see. Yep, we're good.
Yeah.
Oh,
That took some
popsicles.
finessing.
I know, but we did it. We powered through it, right? We did. It was meant to be, and I love that it was through a mirror.
Yeah.
That cracks me up.
That is really funny.
Yeah, popsicles and love and relationships. Let's talk a little bit about that.
It's geometric.
Yes, let's
Love
hear
is
it.
a geometry.
All right, let's hear it.
It's yeah, we were going to talk about sacred mathematics as well.
Mm-hmm.
That you know, it's all what the universe is doing is it's relating. Mm-hmm. And it's our hesitancy to relate that causes twists
Mm-hmm.
that become problematic.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's all relating. So you know, first relationship is the relationship with yourself.
Correct.
Even closer than mother is this is first relationship. And you know, because this is not who I am,
Right.
but this is what I'm doing.
That's what I'm working with.
It's absolutely what I'm
I'm
working
working
with.
it. I'm working it.
And if I can think of this as a two-ness instead of just a oneness,
Mm-hmm.
that's very functional to do that, because then I get to be in the presence of unknowns, even
Mm-hmm. within
within here,
Mm-hmm.
to know that I only know probably 1% of what this is,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And so you know, that's like, you know, a relationship of two. There's a this and a that, and there's a relationship between, which is a line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then if you have two things, then you need perspective on that, which is the third point.
Okay.
Okay, that third point can be in the center between the two and is working with how to balance this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really referencing your duality,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the polar pair is that you're
Right.
working with. You're like really in it, you're looking at it, how does it balance, how do I stay balanced in reference to it? Or you can separate out a little bit and get perspective on it, and then you get a lens that is like a reference point that is about that duality, but you're able to see it
Through neutrality.
Yes,
And it's
through
much gentler.
Yes.
So you don't have to have the fight
Right.
at all between the polarities. That's a lie.
And it can also receive and reflect a lot more information.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes such sense.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going as humans, right?
Oh,
more,
yeah.
More that way.
Yes.
That we're not buying the duality anymore.
Right. Right. Well,
We've
then
been there, done that. We're out of there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, but then, you know, go one more. The next step is the tetrahedron,
Mm-hmm.
which is the shape that has 4 triangular sides. Looks like a pyramid, but it's a 3-sided pyramid.
Okay.
And it's the very first of the Platonic solids. And basically, it's the absolute smallest unit, 3D unit, that will enclose space.
Mm.
Well, actually, someone has come up with something else, but I won't go
Welcome
there
to our world now,
Yeah, I know. Right.
To
yeah.
infinity and beyond.
Yeah, right. This is true. It's true. We got to keep allowing things. It's not all just straight lines.
Right.
So, yeah. So the tetrahedron. So, but if you take that also as, you know, a description of consciousness, so you have one facet of the tetrahedron is perspective on duality from a particular point of view, and then you can rise above it and see that whole thing and get more points of view on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes a larger, more inclusive subject matter. And then, you know, then it can start to expand from there. So
how would you compare that to like the flower of life? Love that.
Yeah.
When you go to Egypt and you see it stamped.
On the Osiris temple, Osirian. Yeah, I know. It's pretty wild.
It is. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like a calling card. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you guys need to come up a level.
Right. Yeah.
Or 10 or 20 or 100
And,
or,
you know, and of course that form has been in the crop circles a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and in various permutations.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, you know that there's a vertical, and there's verticals at every level of scale. You know, there's a vertical, and then there's all these different possibilities of relationship to that center. So, and that's, and you know, they're on these polar axes, and how to balance all of that. I mean, you know, it's based on 6 around 1, which, you know, is 7, but 6 around 1 is 3 axes through the center. I mean, I put myself in the center of the crop circles, and in the center of these geometries, and I embody it. So, like, if I'm embodying 6 around 1, how is 6 around this one?
Right.
You know, so there's an
What
up
does that look
down,
like?
there's a right left, there's a front back. So that's 6 that I embody.
My awareness is in that field.
Absolutely, that's one way to look at it, and I navigate through that kind of 6 around my own 1. There's also, I mean, there's really another very interesting, more 2D way to relate to 6 through this physical incarnation, which is that you know, we think of it as the Star of David.
Okay.
Right. The star triangle, star tetrahedron is 3D of that, but the Star of David, you know, the 6-pointed star, the hexagram, is in my body. You know, I have one level that's an upward triangle that I can think of as my head, and what's down below is I've got 2 feet. So that's a tall, thin triangle, and then I've got a downward facing triangle that's got my arms, you know, the hands on the top, and the other side, the singularity is the genitals. Right. Is the genital area, and this is this horizontal, this large squat one, you know, is the creative edge. You know, it's got my hands on it. It's got, I do things, I create things, and I clearly create out of genitals. Obviously. Whereas the vertical one, the upward one, is more about exploration, and, you know, my legs carry me around, and my head is receiving information all the time, and thinking, and all of this is
orifices too.
Well, that's a whole other geometry there. But you know, just taking this kind of consciousness reception and exploration as a whole. So you know, that's a geometry, and the fact that they're tall and skinny and squat and wide feels to me like it's breathing.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so
oh my God,
it's pulsing.
It is.
It's pulsing.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. So it's alive. These things are alive.
It's alive.
Yeah, really.
You know, the first thing that comes to mind is, what would that be from an out-of-body experience of that?
Well, you answer that. What comes up for you? Yeah.
And where that would fit in that of yourself. Having that experience, that's just where I go with it. You know, I don't know, on a geometry kind of way of how that would that just be a duplicate of that, and I would have to have an addition to it somehow.
Is there a creative aspect to the spirit body?
There has to be.
Yeah. And there's certainly an exploration. Yeah. So. That's fasanating. I mean, I don't get out of body. It's not something that this particular incarnation.
Well, hang out here for a while.
It's not something that I've
oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I would love to do
that.
Oh
yeah,
but on the other hand, I feel like the contract was to contract here.
Right.
You know, so and I'm okay with that. There have been just a couple times where I've had some very brief contact that has pulled me out.
Oh, let's hear it.
I haven't gotten very far. You know, kind of like went through a wall and that was it. But
that's
huge. Then I kind of land back in my body.
Well, the moment you get fear, you're back.
Right.
Well, you get that fear.
Something like that.
Oh, let's hear it. Do you mind or?
No, I don't mind. I mean, I did get a healing one time, which was really cool. And this is probably, you know what, I talked about this when you were talking at the park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you were asking for people's.
That's where I saw you.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, I just put that together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think this is a common experience where people, I've heard it from at least one or two other people, that when you're in bed and they're coming, or they're like signaling, hello, we're here, is that they'll like jump on the bed, or they'll like, you know, you'll hear, you know, something going through, and you'll feel the bed shaking, and it'll feel like the cat jumped up on the bed, or I mean, I had this particular one, I had the thought that my son, who doesn't live with me anymore, had come in and was like trying to wake me up or something. But
or like your dog bounced on you, or cat bounced on you.
Right, yes, that type of thing. Have you ever had that experience? Yeah. And then it's contact, it's something, someone else is there. So that's what happened this time. And actually it had been predicated by my mother, who passed over a year and a half ago, coming in and giving me a hug.
Oh,
like,
don't you love that?
Yeah.
You're open.
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
Oh.
Thank you, Mom. I love you.
Oh.
And so she had been there early in the night, and that, you know, that's always lovely. So my system was probably kind of open.
Right.
But I didn't actually remember that until like a few days later, and I was kind of recalling, oh my God, my mom was there first. So and then you know, I felt something on the bed, and then I felt something kind of lay down on top of me. And at first I went into fear, like, I don't know what this is. It looks like a shadow being, you know. It's not familiar experience for me. It's not something like I've done a lot. And I was trying to fight it off, and I was invoking Archangel Michael and Jesus, and you know, I was raised Jewish. I mean, these aren't even you know, beings that I think about or call on. You know, it's like, but I've heard that you could do this if something is around, and then that will work. You know, and I was like, you know, trying to hold it back and, you know, hold it away, and kind of strangling it a little bit, trying. And I had, like, I invoked a sword, and I sliced it. Right, exactly. And it would kind of poof for a moment, but then it would come back. And then I thought, I had this moment of thinking, oh, wait a minute. I've invoked all this stuff, and it's still here. Maybe it's not threatening. And at that moment, it shifted, and it looked like a gray ET.
So it shifted its beingness.
It shifted from this shadowy thing that was like really trying to
harm you.
Well, I don't know if it was trying to harm me, but it was trying.
Wake up.
It was like, it was compressing. It was like
I've had that.
Something.
Yeah, I felt that feeling. Yeah.
I don't know if it was trying. It probably wasn't. But I was in.
That's your.
I was in the frame of reference. Is the universe threatening? I was not in the frame of reference. Is the universe friendly? Right. But in the moment when I shifted, maybe the universe is friendly.
Right.
This thing shifted. Right. Exactly. And it became like a gray. And I said, oh, are you an ET? And it kind of did this. It did this kind of head thing.
Oh, she's getting it. By George.
And then I was kind of, you know, my hands were already around his neck, and suddenly it was like a skinny little neck, and I was starting to feel it, and it's feeling, you know, it's very dry skin. A little, you know, kind of actually like my skin, a little bit loose, and, you know, and I was feeling its very small hips, and then it got up and started walking around the room, and I could hear it walking around the room, and I was hearing these tinkling noises, these kind of metallic tinkling noises, and as it came back, I mentally said to it, "Can I get a healing?" And it said, yes, very dry, just yes. And I heard the tinklings come back, and then it put a pin, like a acupuncture, like an acupuncture pin. It seemed to, one went in here, and then one went in here, and the moment that the second one went in, everything disappeared. Everything. Well, I was completely awake. I was back in my bed. It was like the whole thing was gone. Everything was gone. That was like the final stroke.
That's so amazing.
It was lovely. And then a moment later, I started having that kind of flush of energy that happens when you get acupuncture.
Right, exactly.
And I got acupuncture from an ET.
I love that. And the price is right. Well, maybe. A loving universe.
Yeah, it's a loving universe.
Oh yeah, we're doing good.
Oh, good.
Oh, as above, so below. They
Yeah.
say.
Oh, that's
kind
that's
of
the
cool.
fractal universe.
Is that it?
Yeah,
The fractal
sure.
universe. Oh, how cool.
As above, so below.
Oh, that's an amazing story. I love that. Let's see where we are. I think we're good. All right.
Yeah, yours are pretty cool.
You can ask questions here, everybody, too.
That's
So,
true.
oh my gosh, we're having too much fun, or not enough fun, or just enough fun here. So, yeah, we have
always be more fun.
There can always be more fun.
It's an expanding universe.
That's right. So we have just about 20 minutes. So
Okay.
is there anything that you felt like you have to say or want to say, or what do you want to bring us home? Bring us full circle. Just kidding.
Clever.
Clever.
Yeah, very good. Well, some people, there are researchers out there that think that, back to crop circles, that think that the authentic crop circles that there haven't been any new authentic crop circles since 2012 or something like that. But personally, and there are people that make them, it's true, there are people, but you know, there are two things I want to say about that. One is, why would they leave? You know, I mean, if they've been here forever and they've been doing, this wonder, why would they stop? Especially now, you know, when we could use this kind of information. You know, we still need it definitely on this planet. So there's no reason why they would stop. And the second thing is that, you know, in my view, where I think that the whole universe is doing them and we're not separate from that.
Right.
Even though there are technologies that are probably held by some interdimensional species, probably more than one, maybe the Earth herself, you know, who knows? I don't think it's just one thing. Nothing is just one thing. Nothing is just one thing. But where was I going? That the universe is doing them, and that
we just went there.
Yeah, and that it's a holographic field. Oh, I remember what I was saying. Even with the humans, that they're involved in a numinous activity. Even if they think that they are coming up with these ideas themselves and hoaxing on everybody,
right?
You know, they don't know really who they are and why they would come up with a particular design and why it would be they would do it. They may think it was just some whim that they came up with, but there could have been a group that was meditating on just that design. In fact, this happens. Or they go out there and they're doing it and balls of light show up.
Or that with Patty Greer's work.
Exactly.
With the whole balls of light.
Exactly. And the balls of light, you know, it's a common occurrence in the cops. Either the balls of light are making them or they're very interested in them. You know, so they're associated. We don't know. So, you know, even with the man-made ones, it's still part of the universe that's making them, and we're not separate from that either. So, you know, in the holographic idea that any angle from which you approach any subject matter, but particularly the crop circles, whatever angle you approach it from is going to reflect back to you, like that crop circle that I did show you. It's going to reflect back to you through the facet of lensing that you're holding.
Right.
And
depending on where your expansiveness is,
right,
of
so
what you can handle.
Again, you know, so if you're thinking, is this a dangerous universe or is this a friendly universe? It's going to reflect back to you through that lens. If you're a skeptic, you'll get that kind of information. If you're a channeler, you'll get that kind of information. So
and they're all right.
And they're all right. That's exactly right.
That's
It's a very big universe, and all points of view are valid.
Respect it. And so the history of we started with history of crop circles. I guess we're going to bring it home with that. They've changed. They've become so much more than when they first started, right? With the very simple, basic. So does that mean we've grown along with them, or not? Or
well,
what's your
how do you
view
want
on
to
that?
How do you want to interpret it? And they've also, the simple ones still appear.
They do.
And the simple ones had much more information in them than you think.
Oh.
Yeah, so, you know, it's a complex universe. It's,
well, fine art is like the simple.
yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, the minimalist crop circles.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. There can be a lot of information and a very
Mhm.
little bit of design.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
there can be brilliant mathematics. I mean, you know, one of the designs that happened for many years before they started getting much more complex was something that was called the 5-spot, or the five dice. You know, with the dot in the center and 4 on the 4 directions.
Right.
And those designs, almost, maybe all of them, maybe even all of them, will square the circle in some way. And some of them you have to really kind of play with the geometries on how it works. And there was a guy, Alan Brown, who was doing that work for a number of years, and he found like 50 new ways to square the circle. And squaring the circle is an old geometer's riddle.
Okay.
And we knew like maybe 5 of them, 5 ways to find the squaring of the circle, where the perimeter of the square and the perimeter of the circle are the same distance.
Okay.
That's one way. Or the area of the square and the area, that's the surface area of the filling of the square and the filling of the circle, that it's the same area. Those are 2 slightly different measurements. But, you know, the idea being that the circle being representing the wholeness and the universe and the oneness and the singularity is harmonic and equivalent in some way with manifest reality. And so this was a way, it's very hard to do with just a compass and a straight edge to find these things. But Alan Brown found like 50 new ways from using the measurements of these 5-spot crop circles of how to square the circle. So that's an instance of very advanced intelligence that is manifesting in a hidden way that unless you can find your way into it, it won't necessarily be revealed.
Right.
But you might feel it as a kind of, oh, there's something very harmonic here. It feels good to be in this crop circle. So.
And what about that one crop circle that did the code 0111 or?
Right. Well, there have been a few that have had really direct code in them. There was the 2002 Crabwood alien.
Yes.
Yes, and he's holding a disc.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you think
and
of
it has? Oh my God. I mean, there's so much information. I mean, not only just the message there, but you know, it was that manifests on the 50th anniversary of the flyover of Washington.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't remember that.
That's very significant.
Oh, of course it is.
Yes. It was the number. It was the image of the ET was done with horizontal lines like old televisions, you know, used to be. And actually it was the same number of lines as the RAST rate of scanning of how the old televisions used to work. It was the same number of lines, so it referenced something about that kind of history.
So they're aware of that.
It seems to be. And then of course they're using 8-bit ASCII code, you know, and on a disc, which is probably alien technology that was given us, you know.
Right.
So
it wasn't on a cassette tape. So.
Yes, right. And then of course the message, you know, beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises.
Sounds like the United States, though. Sorry.
You know, probably that could be spread throughout the world, but you know, and there's good out there. That was another part of the message. So, you know, the universe does have friendliness in it.
Yeah.
You know, so
and a good sense of humor with that too, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the design is so brilliant.
It is. I still have it in my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We have about 11 minutes. So.
11 minutes and 11 seconds. 10, 9. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
And it's been really fun. The time's went by pretty
Yeah.
fast, you know.
Yeah.
So let me make sure no one's asked questions and I didn't miss them. Aloha from Moses. Is that
Probably
something?
aloha.
Oh, it is. Aloha on my planet. Lajita Marv, hello and welcome. And Danielle Southwick. I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. So yeah, so we have like 10 minutes. Let's see what Spirit wants to say. Well, thank you for your work and how long you've been holding sacred space for this to happen.
Yeah.
For people, you know.
I feel so lucky, just so fortunate that I can do this. You know, I mean, people get very, you know, my heart goes out to them. They get very involved in having to live their lives, and they don't have the free attention to do something like this.
To do this research.
Yeah, and I've just been really fortunate that I can spend as much time on it as I want, and I really like doing it. So
You have a passion for it.
I like sharing it, you know. It's like,
it's your thing.
Yeah.
It's your thing. You can see
it's
it.
beautiful. It's art. It's it's exquisite. It's exhilarating. You know, it's a good ride.
Speaking of, I love your medallion. Can they see that?
Yeah, sure. This is, speaking of Nassim Haramein, this is the art crystal that is part of Nassim Haramein's technology.
Oh, because I've been kind of seeing it the whole evening.
Yeah?
So I'm thinking, we gotta hear about that.
A little low down for the here. You can hold that.
Oh,
up
I
for them.
can.
Oh yeah, and
you.
I'll we'll go a little further into this.
Okay.
So, yes, this is the ARC crystal. ARK. Hold it up.
Okay.
Yeah. You need to go up. I think the camera's up here.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Whoops.
There you go. There it is. So here, I'll give you a little
Maybe
some
you
clues
hold
about
better
it.
than me. That is gorgeous.
So this crystal is a lab-grown quartz. It's here, I'm taking it out of its little housing here. Hold on. It's magnetically held in this thing. Here it is. It's tetrahedral. Speaking of the tetrahedron,
yeah.
Well, but the tips are cut and the edges are actually cut to be resonant with the structure of the universe.
I just love it.
And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's here. You're sensitive. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're putting it in her hand.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Ooh,
I can feel that.
Oh, yes, you can. Yeah. So
wow.
I charge water with it.
Oh,
it
cool.
restructures water, and they're doing tons of lab work with it, and finding that the structured water on plants makes them germinate more. You know, makes them grow better, stronger, healthier, have more nutrients in them. They're just doing all this amazing work to see what's the power of it. Oh yeah, that's nice.
That resonates beautifully.
Yeah, and there's a lot. If you want to take a look at that, go to ARK, probably ARK crystal, and just find it. You know.
Yeah.
It could also be through Taurus Tech, TORUS Tech.
Oh,
they're
so cool.
That's
Can
the
we do this hand?
Yeah, you betcha.
Hey, you guys, who's having some fun now?
Let's transmit this.
Yeah, we're gonna send it to you guys.
Yeah.
Can they see it? Oh, let's see if they can
come up a little higher.
And we'll bring this down a little. I keep forgetting they can. There. Oh yeah. This is for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel that. I love it. So we're putting her crystal on my palm, and then she's putting her hand on top and one on the bottom for those that are listeners.
People, you can put your hand under here too.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll feel it.
Oh, I definitely feel that.
Yeah, it kind of amplifies. Yeah.
Are you aware of Michael Lee Hill's work?
Yeah.
Don't love him.
He's good.
He's really good.
Do you know? Have you met him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had him on the show a couple
you
times.
have. Yeah, he's an interesting dude.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
He really is. Oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
We are connected.
Yes. Yeah. So this is resonating with the structure of the universe.
Well,
So it's
like the all-seeing eye. Like the
well.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
the
that's so
universe is
cool.
pixelated into these
Right.
little Planck scale tetrahedral array.
Yeah, and when you see that, it spins off like in the webbing in your hand. See all those little, like a little,
Ooh.
you know what I mean?
I
Have you
think
ever
you're
looked
seeing
at
more
that?
than I am.
Oh. But
Is
see,
it like
you know
the
where-
light going through it?
Yeah,
Is
but
that-
see where my veins are in my
Yeah,
hand?
yeah.
You can kind of see like it looks like a star.
Oh, nice.
Do you see that at
Oh,
all?
yeah. Oh, lovely. She's got the right hand for it.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see yours. Let's see what it does with
Okay.
yours.
All right. Yeah, I
Yes,
never noticed that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It lightens them up, kind
Yeah.
of, doesn't it?
Yeah. Huh. Huh.
That's really cool.
Wow. Okay, new dimension of my art crystal. I haven't seen that one before.
Wow, it's like all around it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and really see look at that right
Mhm.
there. It's really lit up. This is a palm reader's delight, right? I wish I knew how to do all of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably someone there.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool.
Uh,
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to today's show, and thank you for sharing your beautiful,
this has been wonderful.
lovely art and your spaceship that it's encapsulated in.
Right.
Does it? That's what it reminded me. I thought, oh,
it
it's
does look like a spaceship.
living in a
doesn't it?
spaceship.
Yeah,
She's
it really
holding it in
does.
a spaceship.
Yeah,
So,
that's the design. I have to put it back in the right way.
oh, just gorgeous,
and
just
we'll
gorgeous.
Show it all together.
So you can find Marian Grace at her website at theradiantpoint.com. Everyone's sending their love.
Oh, thank you.
Yay!
Thank you,
Sonia
love back.
Sloan. Hello, ladies. She says, very cool.
Love and kisses. We'll let the arc shine through.
Wow.
Ooh,
Yeah.
disorienting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's to you. All of our love to everybody.
Woo, as it flies
Have you ever
around.
put it on your sixth chakra?
Yes, it's very good.
Oh, yeah. What did it do?
It definitely is buzzy.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
The mad scientist part of me, right?
it can be a little hard to nap with it on there.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but I have tried.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's very very resonant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really beautiful.
There
Well,
it is.
thank you for coming on. And
Thank you so much
being
for
our
inviting
guest.
me.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, this is great
Wonderful
fun.
getting to know you.
Yeah.
And our audience getting to know you. And so you can find Marian at theradiantpoint.com. And let's tell your YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and anything else.
Marien Grace, MARIEN Grace. That's one channel, and that has my more current stuff on it. And the older channel that has more crop circle stuff on it is Crop Circle Grace.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Then there's also my website, The Radiant Point. You can also find through mariangrace.com.
Fantastic.
And Bay Area Crop Circle Study Group.
Right. When's that? The next meeting next month?
Yeah,
This?
it's the third Sunday of the month, and I can't remember what the date is.
Okay. They can find you
yeah.
at any of these places.
Yeah, if you're in the Bay Area, you know.
Or make a trip to the Bay Area.
Yeah, yeah. Shoot me an email, Marian at mariangrace.com, and I'll put you on the mailing list. I send really pretty emails, you know.
Oh, that
and
sounds good.
I don't spam. I make sure that, you know, it's just like one or two to remind you, by the way, and here's the subject matter.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in to the Cosmic Oracle Show this evening. You can reach me on Facebook at barbarajeanlindsey.com. For those listeners, BARBARAJEANLINDSEY. And it's barbarajeanlindsey.com. And check out what's going on. That's where I have all my events, speaking engagements, and where you can buy my books and, you know, all those sorts of things, support the work here.
You're getting love bubbles. I saw that.
And support the work here. And also, again, thank you again for giving generously to Revolution Radio. And we really appreciate it. You can go to freedomslips.com and give a donation there. And I'm going to have a guest next week. Her name is Sev Talk, Sevtok. Check her out. We'll be interviewing her next Friday, as usual, every Friday from 5 to 7 LA time, and 8 to 10 for all of my friends there on the East Coast. And for all the Australian people, for some reason, the Cosmic Oracle Show has a lot of Australians. And so thank you for, I know it's not the best time, and you guys show up, and I really appreciate that. Wow. So thanks, everybody, and much love to you, and bringing our love from UFOCon 2020. And I will be speaking the next time, I don't remember. I'll be speaking at a IANS group, International Association for Near-Death Studies, in, I think it's, oh gosh, I can't remember, March or April, and that'll be in San Diego, California. And then I'll also be speaking at Contact in the Desert for my 6th year, and be holding, if you haven't gotten tickets for Contact in the Desert, now's the time. I'll be holding 5 Cosmic Cafes where you can tell your stories 5 different times, and I'll also be presenting. And also my good friend Bill Homan said that he would come back because you loved it so much, that Saturday evening in May 31st through June, whatever that Saturday is, he's going to bring the Crystal Skull on for us. And we'll be taking a look at the Crystal Skull with Bill Homan and Carol Davis. So I'm really excited. And my friend Priscilla Kennedy, her husband, is going to come and join us too. And so I hope you've gotten your tickets. And you'll be coming to Contact in the Desert because I promised you something really special, and I'm always good to my word. So thanks everyone again for tuning in, and I think we'll just sit in the, can they imagine they're sitting in a crop circle when we leave?
Sure.
Because once you sit in one, right, then you can kind of go back to that experience over and over again, right, and revisit it.
That's lovely.
Do you do that?
Probably less than I should. It's a great idea. I'm looking at the pictures all the time. So, yeah, actually, that's a really good way to experience them, is to just look at them online and, you know, let them infuse you.
Right, and if you're guided to a certain one, there's usually a reason, right?
Yeah, let that information come forth. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're so beautiful.
I think we're here. I think that's the end of it, everybody. I don't know why it's, usually by now we would have it's the end of the show. Dun, dun, dun,
oh,
dun,
you would hear
dun.
it?
Yes, yes, usually we do. Maybe I'm just not hearing it right. But I don't want to speak over anyone either. So we'll call this an evening at the Cosmic Oracle Show. And again, thanks to my guest, MARIEN Grace.
Thank you, my dear.
Woohoo! We'll see you guys on the, wherever we meet up. Whoop, whoop, the fractal universe. Oh, there it is.
He is founded on great ideals and principles they've all been doing at the banks.
Wow, that was fun. So you do it through Skype.
Mm-hmm.